What's the smartest way you've used company policy against your terrible boss? My job had this ridiculous policy where you couldn't take vacation days if any project was behind schedule. Missing deadlines meant losing your bonus completely. I'd been saving up for a 2-week trip to Japan for over a year, but my manager Derek kept assigning me impossible deadlines right before my planned vacation. Derek was basically a micromanager on steroids. This guy would literally schedule meetings at 4:55 p.m. on Fridays just to show he was dedicated. He kept a spreadsheet tracking everyone's productivity, and it already cost 3 people their bonuses that year. Everyone hated him, but everyone needed their jobs more. After he assigned me an urgent project due the day before my vacation, he smirked and said, "Guess Japan will have to wait until next year, buddy." I was furious. That night, instead of working on his impossible project, I did something no employee ever does. I actually read our employee handbook, all 47 mind-numbing pages of it. At midnight, exhausted and frustrated, I found gold buried in section 12.3. For purposes of project deadline policies, work assignments must be distributed with reasonable timeline expectations based on standard industry practices. I nearly jumped out of my chair. The policy specifically required reasonable timelines, but Derek was assigning 2-week projects with 3-day deadlines. By their own definition, his assignments weren't valid at all. The next morning, I set the trap. I submitted a formal timeline assessment for Derek's project, copied HR and his boss. I documented that the project required minimum 10 business days based on industry standards, but I'd been given 3. I requested either additional resources or timeline adjustment per company policy section 12.3. Derek didn't even try to hide his anger. "This project is due Wednesday. No exceptions." He was already typing furiously. "You can explain to corporate why you missed deadline and lost your bonus." I smiled calmly, then pulled out my highlighted handbook. "Actually, there have been 0 valid project assignments this quarter under current company policy." His typing froze mid-sentence. "What? I've assigned you 12 projects. You completed 11 of them." "Oh, I completed the work," I said, flipping to the highlighted section. "But according to this, assignments must have reasonable timelines. None of your deadlines meet industry standards, so they're not valid assignments under company policy." The color drained from his face as he read the section. His mouth opened and closed like he was choking. This isn't how," he stammered. "Isn't this the official employee handbook we all signed?" I smiled. "Would you like to see my documentation of industry timeline standards?" He stormed into his office without another word. 2 hours later, HR called an emergency meeting. Derek sat there sweating while I presented my case. That same afternoon, I found another beautiful clause buried in the handbook. Managers found in violation of reasonable workplace policies face immediate performance review. By end of week, Derek's boss called me personally. "We've reviewed your timeline assessments and they're completely accurate. Derek has been violating company policy for months." She paused, then continued with obvious respect. "In 5 years, no one's ever actually cited the handbook like this. Congratulations, you found a legitimate loophole." Derek became obsessed with finding ways to write me up for other violations. One day, he tried citing me for excessive bathroom breaks, 6 minutes total. Another time for inefficient email communication because I used bullet points instead of paragraphs. HR tried a different approach. They offered me Derek's position if I'd agree to mentor him through improved management practices. When I declined, they offered a 20% raise and full remote work. The desperation was beautiful. During my performance review, HR handed me an updated handbook personally. The new project timeline requirements were highlighted in bright yellow with Derek's signature. Checkmate. By the next quarter, Derek had been transferred to a different department. I got my Japan vacation, my bonus, and a reputation as the guy who actually reads company policies. Sometimes the best way to beat the system is to use the system's own rules against itself.